Yo, it's a little after, shit, what's the time? 8 o'clock, I think, or just before 8. I just checked the weather and it's spitting, raining. As you can see, I'm a little bit more prepared this time with the silly little umbrella. Actually, let me not disrespect this umbrella. This is a good umbrella. You can probably see the clouds all around. I'll pop the weather on the screen too. It's like a high chance of rain. What am I up to? Walking home. I can even hear the rain hitting the umbrella. It's not too windy. I don't have anything in my bag. I left my laptop at home, so basically just my journal, and pieces of paper and stuff. Nothing particularly electronic or valuable, so not the end of the world. Plus I actually have an umbrella this time. Last time I had nothing, so it'll be fine. I also texted my fiance, who's hopefully awake, to pick me up halfway. So yeah, the reason why it's so late for me walking, I actually didn't realize I've been talking to my dad for the past 2 hours. Basically got up really early, around 5:30ish, did my morning exercises, and then Dad just came home from work just before 6, so he ended up asking me a bunch of questions about moving. What are we going to do, 2 hours later? He's like, oh, gotta go to sleep. I was like, oh shit, it's late. So yeah, that's why I'm doing the walk so late. I don't think it was raining before. Maybe it was. But yeah, it's the reason. Actually, give me a second. I need to adjust something. Yo, I'm back. Okay, so today I'm grateful for my dad, grateful for food and shelter, particularly on days like this, when just having a roof over your head is something that most of us probably take for granted. So grateful for that, grateful to have clothes and food, grateful to have money in the bank, grateful to be able to focus on my health, grateful to the bottle stop team in Hamilton, who were great to deal with, with this rental that we secured the other day, yesterday basically, is when we signed the tenancy agreement, and looking to move in pretty much next week. Rent starts next week, so we have to pay, bond and first week rent, basically 5 times $550, which is $2,750, and we had to pay a down payment of half to get the PDF so that we could send it to Wins for for assistance because we're entitled, or she's entitled, my fiance, transition to work, TTW, which basically, you know, they cover certain costs up to a certain amount to help you tie you over from your last payment on the your last payment on the job seeker to your first paycheck. So yeah, that's what we're doing. I started writing the better section, like, you know how I normally talk about how can I be better today. I didn't really finish that because I was busy talking to my dad, just trying to figure out the logistics and what our plan is. So don't really have anything there, but then I wrote down some things, intent for today, and what I came up with. I think I might actually cross the lights this time. What I wrote down was like calling providers, basically setting up our utilities before we get there, and then figuring out what do we need to buy and what can we actually just take with us. So yeah, anyway, at the lights. I might touch base with you later. Across the road, I actually called my fiance. She's gonna come pick me up. So I'm gonna continue walking, and yeah. Actually, what I should do while I'm waiting, while I'm walking, is I'll start watching Darren Daily, and yeah, by the time she comes, hopefully I'll have seen it once, can watch it a second time, and then take notes and work on getting it out quickly. And actually I need to do this originality post because it's gonna potentially make things a lot easier, because I can focus on just not worrying so much about making those ones super original, because the truth is they're not. They're me riffing off, you know, what he says in the video, basically doing like a little mini report of this is what he said, this is how it applies to me, etc, etc. So yeah, anyway, I've actually just found some partial shelter, but I'll keep walking. I'm gonna watch Darren Daily, and yeah, you might see me soon. Yo, I have been rescued. Go home. Gonna do some Darren Daily. I only watched part of the video, so I'll do it when I get home. Should have it done before 9. Anyway, see you later. Yo, it's quite late at night. It's like 9:30. Just watched Squid Game. I think the last time that you saw me was in the morning when I got picked up by my fiance because it was spitting and raining. What did I do? So I had 3 more Māori lessons, and then shortly after that did my LinkedIn and stuff, and then we headed out for a little bit. We went to look at some furniture and fridges for this rental that we're moving into in Hamilton. And man, just trying to like look at different options for utilities, and trying to like get it all bundled under a single provider. It's kind of a bit of a headache because like 2 degrees was one option that we were looking at. And they do everything except gas. And this property that we have, that we're moving into, they have gas. So if we were to go with 2 degrees, we would need to get separate gas. So then we were looking at another one, which was Mercury, who does gas and power and internet and phone, but we can't change over to mobile because she's on a plan, on a contract, and she's got 4 months left on that contract. So we'd have to be paying early termination fee, and we just have to weigh up the pros and cons of, you know, if we create a new account, it's going to cost this much, but we won't get this, and if we stay with this, you know, there's trade-offs. And then it's like we also need to weigh up and decide on what we move, what we buy, you know, and there's a potentiality that we're not necessarily going to be there for a certain period of time. So we don't want to invest too heavily on, you know, really good quality stuff. So it's like you go from one challenge to a bigger challenge, and you kind of think that things get easier. And as Darren Hardy's mentor, Jim Rohn, said, don't wish things were easy, wish you were better. And this is a living, breathing example of that. It's like you think that, you know, when you get the job, yeah, everything's easy. And it's like, nah, now we have to move. And then, okay, we look at properties, we find a property, we like the property, we put the application through, we go through all the hurdles, we get, you know, approved, we get offered the place. Cool, easy. Nah, just more problems, more solutions, more problems to solve, I should say. So one of the things that we're kind of navigating at the moment is we have to deal with potentially, because I've been calling, you know, 2 degrees, Mercury, Nova, been calling all these different providers to try and get a quote and to speak to a human to explain our situation. 2 of them were like, oh, the gas is disconnected at the house, at the rental. We're going to need to send a technician out, and it's going to cost, you know, one said 120 and the other said 150. And they were both like, you should put this cost on the landlord because it's, you know, it's their responsibility, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, oh, but we signed the tenancy agreement and it said, you know, tenant covers the cost of installation and whatnot. And then I basically was talking to my dad about it. And then I asked ChatGPT, and ChatGPT basically said, it doesn't matter what the tenancy agreement says, law is law. And yeah, law, you know, what am I trying to say? An unfair clause does not override law. Law overrides a tenancy agreement, because part of the, I think it was the NZ tenancy services. By the way, this is the first time that we're needing to deal with this, so this is brand new to me. This might not be new to you at all if you have any experience, so chill out if you think we're stupid. Yeah, the tenancy services or something said that a landlord has a responsibility to make sure that gas and all of these things are connected when you know, tenants move in. So basically, things should be working. We should not need to pay for them to work. And I think there was a dispute recently, I can't remember exactly, but there was a dispute where a tenant had to pay, you know, a connection fee, and then the tribunal ruled against the landlord and ruled in the favor of the tenant. So it's really uncomfortable that we have to even like broach this topic. Like, the last thing that we want to do is to start our tenancy before we've even moved in with a bum fight. Like, oh, we're not going to do this. It's like, bro, we got enough things to worry about, man. We just want to move. We want to be happy. We're trying to settle down. You know, she's accepted a job. We're leaving our family. Like, this is a huge deal for us. And the last thing that we need is just freaking, just rubbish. Like, come on. Do better. Be better. So, yeah, I need to make a phone call tomorrow to try and get to the bottom of this. And hopefully not even need to, like, write a letter or anything. And because it's like, it's actually stopping us from making a decision. Because we have to weigh up, well, if we go with this provider, it's going to cost X. And if we go with this provider, it's going to cost Y. But this provider gives us a free appliance. And this one doesn't have gas. So then we have to get another one anyway. So that's kind of where we're at. That's why, like, today's been a kind of a full-on day. And then I came home and basically just spent time with my dad and my brother watching season 3 of, what is it, Squid Game. And I think we're like, what are we up to? We were watching episode 3 and 4. So it was like an hour each. That's like 2 hours. So yeah, started at around 7 something and now it's 9. And yes, it's past 8:30. I shouldn't be doing this, but this is just the way it is at the moment. Today was actually like a rest day as well. But one, because, you know, the weather was pretty kaka. So didn't really need to go for a walk. Went for a walk. I think my steps at? It's like 2,000. Yeah, I don't know. That's fine. I think it's probably a little bit more because my watch was charging as well. I don't have my journal handy, but there were 3 things that I wanted to do today. One of them was to call a bunch of providers, which I did. Another one was to query about keys, which I did. What else was I meant to do? Can't remember. We also we went to like Big Save and we looked at a fridge. We looked at the fridge because they didn't have one at Noel Leeming. So if you join it with Mercury, you get like a certain plan, you can get a free Samsung product. This was actually Trustpower last year or a couple of years ago. I guess they got bought by Mercury. So now they have this thing, but it's like what is it? A TV for free, 43-inch TV, 280-liter fridge freezer, washing machine, heat pump, or a phone. So out of all of those, the only thing that we really wanted was a fridge, freezer, and a washing machine. We don't need TV. We don't need a phone. We don't need a heat pump. It already has one. And when we called, this is another thing. When we called Mercury, they said, oh, by the way, we can't send the fridge until you move in. And then I said, okay, well, how long is it going to take? And they said, it could take 4 weeks. And I'm like, bro, that's a deal breaker for us. We need a fridge. We can't wait 4 weeks for a fridge. So, long story short, that's not going to happen. We're going to have to buy a fridge separately. And then the guy was kind of stumped. He was like, oh, yeah, I don't know what to say. I don't have a solution for you. I was like, yeah, come on, this is kind of stupid. Like, what, if you're moving into a new place, you need a fridge. You can't wait 4 weeks for a fridge. You need to eat. You need to put food away. So that's just stupid. And then I thought, well, we could buy a fridge and then get a washing machine, because we don't need a washing machine straight away. We can just take it down to the laundromat, like we've been doing anyway. So that worked out. And then, anyway, as part of this, wanting to see if it was a good fridge, we looked at Noel Lemming. They didn't have one, so then they said go to Big Save. So then we went to Big Save, and we actually saw the fridge. And while we were looking at the fridge, it's a good fridge, by the way, good size, bigger than the one that we have and the one that she has. So good size fridge. On Mercury it says 1199, and at the shop Big Save it was $899, so it's $300 cheaper already. Same fridge. So it's like, wow, okay, so it's cheaper. We can buy it straight away. And while we were there, the salesperson was so keen. He's like, oh bro, come over here. This fridge is $100 more, but if you buy it, you get a free recliner. It's $500 for the chair. So I was like, man, this guy's keen as to make a sale. And then he basically just kind of started like pestering us for like 10 minutes and showing us different things. And yeah. There was a bed there that we really liked. It was like $999 on special. It was a really good bed. It was a Super King or something. So we could end up buying a number of things from that one shop. And they do have one in Hamilton, so that's really convenient. So yeah, I guess you'll have to check back tomorrow to see how things progress. Tomorrow I need to call the property people about this kind of gas connection situation, and you know what the situation is, because yeah, if we're having to pay a fee just to get connected, and then we're told that, you know, actually that's the landlord's responsibility, like, rather than mucking around and waiting. Because the other thing, like, it's just, bro, there's a lot of frustration. There's a lot of, like, even with the deposit, we were kind of hoping, because we were told by Wins that they could help us with payment of the bond, but they're just taking too long. So we basically just made the payment, said, look, they can just reimburse us, hopefully. Fingers crossed. And here's another problem, you know. We could end up getting into a bum fight with the landlord, and I just don't want to get into that. Try not to manifest that. That's not going to happen. I'm going to have a conversation with the guy. Hopefully he's going to be surprised and shocked, and he'll sort it out. And we won't even need to deal with this. So here's fingers crossed. Anyway, it's late. I'm tired. You're probably sick of hearing me ramble on about this. So I will bid you farewell. Today was a pretty successful day, pretty productive day. Kind of rested for the most part. Didn't really do most of my exercises. Just been a heck of a day. I did just do some in the morning though. Anyway, that's enough. I will see you tomorrow. Signing out.